just kind of like old times.
What's up? How you doing? How you doing? And then you afterwards. Yeah, it was. It definitely was. Walking off the court, one of their assistants, Matt Lango, said it's just like Penn Princeton. It is, yet it isn't. It's good to play. That's a good team. That's a veteran team. It's good to play that game and get that win.
Coach, just talk about down the stretch. It seemed like you guys struggled to execute. Even can you just talk about sort of the last play on what was kind of the hope there and what Greg ultimately did? Yeah,
well, our execution has to get a lot better. It's early in the year. I think that the pace at which they play, kind of slows everything down. The stretches in the first half there was like this is really, they put you to sleep, and you have to really, I talked about it a lot going into this game with our guys, is at the offensive end and at the defensive end, we have to be ready to guard at the defensive end for 35 seconds because they do a terrific job of just turning it over, hoping that you fall asleep and they score. Down through the years, looking at tapes of them, and it happened today, they score a lot in the last 7 seconds. They just stay with their stuff and they put you to sleep. So you really have to be disciplined at the defensive end. And then at the offensive end, they do a terrific job and have through the years of just staying in front of you. And nothing's ever really there, and you're looking and you're searching. And so going into this game, I told our guys, we have to be ready to guard for 35 seconds. We have to be ready to take our time and get a good shot. And it played out like that. Now coming down to the last play, we wanted to hit Greg at the elbow. We had an option for Austin cutting back door, Jason coming off a double at the elbow. Free wasn't open, Jason wasn't open, Greg turned and went. And so we're fortunate that, he made the play.
Coach, this is exactly the kind of game that you guys lost time and again last year. How good was it to see, Greg step up and make a big play?
It's game 2. We got a long way to go. Our guys know that. Everyone in that locker room knows that. But to come into a game where we went through a huge stretch in the second half where both ends of the court, we weren't sharp. We weren't sharp. We didn't execute. We had a lead. They got back in it. They took the lead. The momentum was all with them. And for us to be able to maintain our poise, our composure, and whether it was ugly or not, to make the plays, get the rebounds at both ends of the floor to win that game, that was good. That's a good feeling. That's what we do. That's what we're used to doing. And so to do that today, and it was ugly. Don't get me wrong. We're far. They make it ugly. They do a terrific job, Temple, of making the game ugly, of really. The pace just gets, but that's their strength. They have veteran players. I don't know whether, there's not too many people in our league that are better than Allen in terms of playing in the post, and those guards are terrific. And so that's a good team. That's a really good team and a good win.
Coach, you talked about the slow ball movement and time, stuff like that. You guys knowing each other's system so well made the game as defensive as it was.
Well, I think whether Franny knows what I'm doing and I'm knowing what he's doing, you still got 10 guys out on the court that are playing against each other for the first time. And so, I don't know whether that had anything to do with it. I just think that they do a terrific job of making you work when you're on offense, and they do a terrific job of when you're on defense of making you work. And so I don't know whether, the years at Penn and Princeton had anything to do with that.
Comparison, I'm sorry.
I'm disrupting the flow, but before I forget, could you explain the injury to Benjamin? I believe he has a cast on his foot.
He's got a boot on. I don't know. He has a sprained ankle.
Okay.
He sprained it in the fall. He re-injured it the other day.
Okay. Is it a concern?
That's a concern because he wasn't available. Yeah. It's a concern because he's not available.
Yeah. Do you think he's available for Savannah State?
I'm not sure yet. It's not the long-term year. He had a sprained ankle. He tweaked it again the other day.
Coach, game or in practice?
Excuse me?
In Tulane or at practice?
It actually was in the practice before Tulane. And then going out there at Tulane, he little bit of time he was out there, he tweaked it a little bit then, so we just want to be safe with it.
Folks are going to probably focus on the fact that this was not an offensive game, kind of ugly, but at the same time, defensively, was that the best half, the first half, the best half you've played since you've been here almost? Where does that one rank? It's better than last year, any game, wasn't it?
I don't know. I'll take it if you want to give us that. And I think you're right. People may focus on the offense. I think that both teams did a good job, and particularly in the first half. And this is, I give all the credit to them because of how many points we had or didn't have. But I felt like we had bad luck. Like we were getting shots that just rimmed out. And it was like, things were close. It just didn't go in the basket. It felt like there was a lid on the basket for part of the first half. We were getting the looks we wanted. We were getting open outside shots. We were getting open interior shots. And it just kept rimming out. But we did, and a lot of times it's hard when you're frustrated because he goes across the lane, takes 2 hooks that he normally makes and misses. Sometimes when you're not a good team, that carries over to the defensive end, and you don't have the gumption, the fortitude to just forget that and get a stop. So it was good in that first half when I thought we were getting decent looks, ball didn't go in, that we still were able to get stops. Now in the second half, I can't say that quite as much because at both ends of the court, there was a stretch there where they were getting open looks and we were not. And as much as we missed in the second half like we missed in the first half, but they weren't the kind of looks that we wanted to get. It wasn't within the flow of how we're doing things.
I guess where I'm going with that is this looks more like the team 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago defensively than last year.
I think this group will be a very good defensive team. I'm not sure how it compares and contrasts to a couple of years ago, but I think that this group will be a very good defensive team. And part of that growth in which we took some steps, we still have a long way to go, is I think I said this after the Tulane game, it's just the understanding. And this team, this is one of the reasons why they're here on the schedule. You got to play defense for 35 seconds, and then you got to play defense, then you have to execute offensively for 35 seconds, and then you got to play defense again, and all of a sudden that series of 35 seconds turns into 20-minute halves, and then you got to do it again for another 20 minutes. And just that mentality, we're taking steps in that direction.
You said it's like Princeton, but it's not. I'm just wondering, I assume at Princeton you didn't have this many turnovers and fouls in your 46, 45 games.
Well, it's like Princeton because I was sitting on one bench and Franny was sitting on the other bench. Every other way, it's not like Penn and Princeton. So, that's it.
What were you looking for with Hoyas when you substituted him for Vaughn, kind of like just down the stretch?
Well, they were small, and I think they were taking us off the dribble a little bit, and I just thought we matched up better, and I just thought we would be better offensively and possibly defensively with him in there. There wasn't one particular thing I was looking for. I just liked the flow of the unit at that particular time against who they had in the game because they were very small. And when we had Jason, Chris, Free, Hollis, and then Greg in the middle.
Along the same lines of Princeton, John, I know we make a big deal about the Princeton offense. I'm wondering, when you have players of these guys to the left and right of you on your bench and on your roster, do you wrestle sometimes with the offense that got you here, whether just take over and take it to the rim, and whether you ever design plays specifically for these guys in that offense?
We don't wrestle with it. I mean, for a large part of the second half, we were getting drives for Austin. We were getting. You might have had a couple of push-throughs right there. We get the ball. So it's not a wrestle. I mean, everybody has a system. Everybody has something that they do. The way we play, everything is there. I think that you got to look at their defense and their offense was as much the reason why. If you want to just look at the score was where it was in the offense and our defense too. I mean, I think our guys, I think our defense was pretty good also. But I don't think I think this is a function of this game right now.